Well, this request came in from one of our subscribers saying, I've been trying to do a painting of rowboats, and for the life of me, I can't make them look like they're sitting on the water. Can you help me? Well, there's a special angle on that. And what I mean by angle is that you've got to look for angle in order to make things look like they're sitting down, especially things that have length to them. So if you're looking at something that has length to it, like if you're looking down the barrel of my pencil there, do you notice that you can't see the full length of the pencil? And you see, as I turn the pencil around and as I get it close, more horizontal with your eyes, you see the full length of it. But if you've noticed, as I turn it more towards the camera, that length gets shorter and shorter and shorter. Now, if you'll notice something else, the angle changes too. So it's a matter of looking not for what it is. How many times have you heard me say that? If you've been watching my quick tips, you've heard it before. It's not what it is. It's not drawing or painting what it is. It's a matter of looking at what causes you to see it the way you do. And that's how we have to retrain our eyes as painters, because we're creating a two-dimensional image. So we are working with a three-dimensional subject, but we're creating a two-dimensional image. And that requires that we have to look at how our eyes are seeing it, not what we know it to be. Now, with that little sermon having been preached, all right, so let's look at how do we look at something three-dimensional and then create an image of it that's two-dimensional. Well, one important thing is, as I said earlier, is the angle. Now look at this. The angle of this boat on this side is going in that direction. If you were looking at a clock, or if you were aligning the point of my pencil with a clock, that would be pointing perhaps a little bit below 2 on an analog clock. But watch, when you think of boat, perhaps you think of the two sides being parallel, going the same direction, but they're not. Look, this one then goes more horizontal because of the angle at which we're looking at this boat. Now, not only that, but notice something else. On this side, you see the continuous line of the side of the boat. You see that? Now, even if you knew the boat to be curved, which you probably would, notice that the front of the boat is always curved because it has that point at the end, at the front. You might make that curved, but that's straight, as I mentioned before. But it goes from here to here at that pretty much a straight angle, maybe a slight little curve there, pretty much a straight direction. But look at this one, the direction changes. It goes in this direction, then it changes, and it goes in this direction. It changes again, and it goes in this direction, and then it changes again, and it turns and goes in that direction. So those are the kinds of things that you need to notice if you want to make things look as if they're sitting down. Remember, your eye level, where your eye level is, where your eyes are, is going to determine how you see those angles. There are angles, the angles, the direction of the angles, and those lengths of those angles then, as you put the way you put those together, the way you observe them, and the way you put those together is going to determine where it's sitting, how we see or how we perceive where it's sitting. So that's how you make a boat lie down. Now let's do just a quick little drawing here, and I'll show you. So you can just take it one section at a time, and you can start at any point. It doesn't matter where you start. The important thing is that you start somewhere that you feel pretty confident about. So suppose we take the section right here. There is a slight, but let's just take that as you see right here, and you can see as my pencil is moving, do you see how it is aligned with that angle right there? That's another thing you can do to kind of build it into your system, is you can, if you're looking out, if you're in plein air and you're looking out, you can hold your finger in front of you and close one eye and let your finger trace that edge and pay attention to the direction in which your finger is moving. It's a brilliant thing that we can do in order to be able to draw things in perspective. By the way, the term of all this is foreshortening. That's foreshortening that causes this. Now, let's go back to this. So if you would start there, so you could just simply do that and draw a line that moves in that angle. Then you can go anywhere you want to now for the next line. Let's suppose I want to go back to the back of it. Now I want you to notice something else that's happening. You see how the back of this, now you know that boat, you know the length of that boat is a much greater than the back of the boat, right? I mean, we know that about rowboats, that particular kind of boat, the boat we're looking at here. But your eyes don't see it that way. When your eyes are looking at it like this, your eyes are not seeing it that way. So it's how your eyes are seeing it that you want to draw it. Now look at this. You see this little distance right here between my fingers? And you see where, if I bring it down to the side of the boat, to right here, you see that length from here to here. Well, let's do that again. See that? From there to there is the same length. We're seeing it the same length as we see this. Now, if I'm drawing that, if I'm drawing this, then I must go up like this to find where this meets right here, because I can't do it just by drawing just this part. I've got to compare this to this, which is another key. Always compare one line or one direction, the length of it, with another, and look at where things line up together. And so then if I take this, if I look at this line and align that up about right there, I see that about right here is where this would align, and I see it comes down about that far, and about right in here is where the edge of this then fits into how I'm seeing it. Now look at this. This is pretty much horizontal, and so we just connect that pretty much at a horizontal angle, and we've got that part. Now this is pretty easy, because when we're looking at something parallel to our eyes, we don't usually have any problem drawing it. We usually can see it relatively correctly if we're really looking at how those lines are moving. And so that would probably not be a real problem to draw that. We can see it's kind of moving in this direction like here, and it goes out and another horizontal. See, this is horizontal, and then it dips in a little bit and goes down a little bit more, and then that is horizontal. And then we see that over here we have just the opposite sort of thing happening, and this moves in like that. Now we have the back side of the boat, the back side of the boat, we have the end of the boat, and now how is all this going to fit in? Alright, so see, if you take one section at a time like that and examine the angles, you will make that boat look as if it's lying down. Alright, so we look at this. This is horizontal. This is pretty much the same angle as this, and that's because of where the eye level is. The eye level is right here. Wherever the eye level is, all the lines, all those angles are usually straight. Not usually, they always are. If they're straight lines, they're going to be at a straight or horizontal direction at your eye level. Now you can try that. You can go into any room where your eye level is, can hold up a pencil and look over, and all the lines on the walls on both sides, or cabinets or whatever you're looking at, are going to be horizontal. So that's just the way our eyes see. Okay, so then this continues then at that horizontal line. It doesn't turn, as you might think you know it to turn. And it goes all the way to where? About right here. In other words, if I took this measurement here, and go there, there, it goes just a little bit beyond that. So if I do this, this, it goes just a little bit beyond that, and then that angle turns, and we see it turning because it's curving. It's actually turning away from us. So we will turn it. And then when it turns, it doesn't turn very much and very far. And then we turn it again. You see it turn again, right like that. And then, well, it turns more than that. It goes further this way. And then it takes a real turn and it goes in the opposite direction. Now let me see. I need to go up just a little bit further there. And then it turns and it goes like that. And you see that? Now we've got that feeling that the boat is sitting down. We need to get the bottom of it. And now we look at what's happening. The bottom of it is below your eye level. So the angles are going to start taking on a different kind of direction. However, this one being absolutely, that was over just a little bit. Got my size off just a little bit there, but that's okay. The angles are right. This is parallel. The angles of here, the angles of this back side are parallel to our eyes, so they are always straight. Well, watch this one. Now this one's beginning to turn and it goes in that direction right there. And so we don't pay attention to this. They don't parallel. The top and the bottom, in this case, don't parallel. They might in some cases, but they don't here. And that's what counts. So whereas this one's moving horizontal, this angle is moving up. And so we make that angle move up and we get something like that. And then we look at how it turns here, and the angle turns and aligns itself about right here where this thing turns, and it comes right down here aligning itself, and we can't really see the back side of that boat. We kind of can, but this is sort of what we've got right there. Now you can see, and then you can make everything else fit into it. For example, you can see this is sort of we know it to be vertical, but it's kind of leaning in this direction and kind of ends wherever that looks like some images inside the boat there. But then if you look right here at the seat, there again, we've got to look at where it's located, not just place it randomly as a seat. And look at how this angle is parallel with this. You see that? So just lift that up just a little bit and connect it in here like that. And did I get it parallel? And then of course it connects in here and so on. So let's bring it right over to the edge here. So that gives you an idea of how to go about creating the edges or creating the angles of not just the whole shape, the top of the shape, the bottom of the shape, and the end of the shape, or both ends of the shape. Examine the angles, because as your eyes, no matter, determined by where your eye is, it's going to see everything different. Follow that little way of seeing, and you'll find that you can draw or paint any image you see. Be sure to view all of our quick tips. And while you're doing so, subscribe to the channel, click on the bell, so you'll always get a notice when we produce a new quick tip, which is every week. And if you have a question, leave it in the comments section and we'll make a quick tip for you. Also, take a trip over to DianeMize.com, where I have full-length lessons, downloads, DVDs, lots of other stuff there, some free stuff for you. And while you're there, you can subscribe to the newsletter, and that way you'll always be informed every time we do something new.